Welcome to battle number 4 of week number 9 of the FnF Victory Road Draft League Season 2. This battle is going to be pitting Liek's team, which is I Like Corsola, versus Quest's team, which is Verocious Victini. As a reminder, the Mega Pokemon available in this match is Mega Scizor on Liek's side. And then the Z Pokemon available, both on Quest's team, are Azelf with Z Any Privilege and Infernape with Z Attack Privilege. Joining me in commentary today is Colin from Blitz City Haxorus, and we're going to start off with some initial thoughts. So Colin, if you want to go first, or I could go first, whichever you prefer.
So both sides, well, mainly Liek's, he has a really strong Volturn core with like Scizor and Rotom Heat, so he's gonna have a lot of momentum. And then Quest has a lot he's pretty like very fast, so I think that they're both gonna be very aggressive. Like maybe barring Empoleon, who I think, well, other than Corsola, is gonna be the defensive cornerstone of each team, because those two just look like they want to defend, and then the rest look like they just want to go on the offensive. So I think it's going to be very explosive.
Yeah, it does seem like there's going to be a lot of pivoting, I'd say, from both sides. Quest also having some Pokemon with access to U-Turn and Volt Switch. Actually, I believe 3 Pokemon on each team. 3 Pokemon on each team, 2 with U-Turn and 1 with Volt Switch on each team. So there will be a lot of pivoting. Quest does seem to have the edge on speed, and Zygarde 10% is going to be very, very effective, I think, especially because Rotom Heat can't comfortably switch into that 1,000 arrows. Liek's does seem to have a little bit more of an edge in bulk overall, although Empoleon will be very good bulky for Quest. Liek's does have bulky Pokemon such as Muck Alola and Druddigon. It's just going to be tough for them to both deal with Zygarde 10%. I'm looking at Zygarde 10% in this matchup. I think it's going to be a really solid Pokemon. And then in Liek's side, I think Druddigon has the potential to actually be a really good Pokemon, especially since Tapu Bulu doesn't typically run fairy moves. So I feel like Druddigon, especially with its versatility, will be valuable as well.
I think Whimsicott is also something to look out for, because once Infernape's gone, it looks like Quest is going to have a pretty difficult time removing Whimsicott. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. He's going to have to keep Infernape alive to deal with Whimsicott, and Whimsicott will be a really valuable Pokemon for Liek's.
Yeah, and Scizor. So I think actually Infernape is really important as well for this match.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Just to keep Scizor and Whimsicott in check.
Well, this is, like you said, going to be pretty explosive. That's pretty much my initial thoughts. I think I'm ready to jump in. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
No, I'm ready.
All right, let's go for it. In terms of lead, I definitely think both sides will probably utilize one of their pivots, maybe Corsola for Liek's. Otherwise, I do see pivoting on both sides.
Yeah, I would see either for Quest, I'd probably say Infernape or Empoleon. Maybe even Azelf if it's a Sash lead. But I could see, just a pivot or a rocker.
There's a lot of options to choose from both sides. And actually, we see Druddigamer, the Druddigon, come out versus Misty, the Heliolisk. Druddigon being able to set up Stealth Rocks or Glare. It can't Glare versus Misty, but Stealth Rocks still will be a very valuable asset in this matchup. Misty is going to use Volt Switch to switch away. Life Orb is revealed to be its item, and Quest is going to switch into a different Pokemon. This Pokemon's going to be Empoleon, Bomber the Empoleon, and there goes those Stealth Rock. Bomber can use Defog to remove those Stealth Rock. Druddigon Earthquake will hit hard, but because it's not stab and Bomber's defense stat is really good, that might not matter too much. Bomber also might have access to Ice Beam, so that's something that Druddigon's going to have to be careful for, but right now what I see Bomber doing is probably going for that Defog to remove rocks. Not going to want to set up rocks maybe yet, just so that Defog removes the rocks first. If it has both, that is. I don't think Quest has ever run both. But, yeah, I think Defog is probably what's going to happen now. Drudagon's going to have to pick if it wants to go for that Earthquake or not. If it has Earthquake.
I did not realize how dangerous Empoleon was. His answer is weak to water. Like, Z-Quig's answer to Empoleon is weak to water.
Yeah, it's high stakes for both of them, because Empoleon doesn't want to take a Volt Switch from Rotom Heat, and Rotom Heat doesn't want to take a Scald from Empoleon. I do think Rotom Heat is actually a safe switch-in, though, because Empoleon's not going to go for a Scald right now, most likely. It could, but right now it just seems like Defog or Ice Beam would be a better option. I feel like Defog probably the best option to get rid of those rocks. Quest is probably not going to want to have those rocks up considering how frail his team is. And if he has any sashes, he's definitely going to want to keep those intact.
Forgot what I was going to say.
It is cool to see Drudagon, though. I don't think that Z-Quigs has used Drudagon that much in this league. Like me, actually, in Season 1, I only used Drudagon a lot in the playoffs and not in the regular season. So it is cool to see Drudagamer come out and show its cool face.
Yeah. Also, I don't know how much Quest uses Resist Berries, but he might have like a Shuka Berry or a Wakan Berry to kind of block Rotom or Druddigan, but I do just see it having leftovers because it has no other way to get health back.
Yeah, leftovers is a pretty common item on Empoleon. I don't see Shuka Berry working that much in this matchup just because Volt Switch means that Rotom Heat would just switch out anyways. So yeah, you'd take less damage, but then Rotom Heat just switches out. And actually, speaking of Rotom Heat, that's who's going to come in next. Rotom Yeet, the Rotom Heat.
Oh, see, the water move would have been the play, but not really. I don't see any really amazing switch-ins to a potential Overheat. Like, nothing, like, Quest has resists, but he doesn't want to send Zydog in to take an Overheat. And he definitely doesn't want Infernape taking Rock's Chip on top of an Overheat.
Yeah, I think the best move for Quest would probably be to scout out what move Rotom Heat's going to use, and if Rotom Heat is of the Scarf variety, which it very much could be, he could decide what's best from there.
I would expect an electric move here, but since 1,000 Arrows is so dangerous, I'm not sure if he will go for the Volt Switch in fear of Zygarde 10% coming in.
Yeah, it could even maybe go for an Hidden Power Ice to try and catch that Zygarde switch in. It's really hard to tell because Electric Fire is such good offensive typing. I think the best move would probably be just scouting it out. I mean, maybe you could even see Rotom going for Trick.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or Hidden Power Ice. Oh yeah, he was expecting the Zydog switch in. That was very dangerous from Quest though, but it was a good play.
Yeah, I don't think Volt Switch would have taken down Empoleon, so Empoleon staying in to remove those rocks was pretty vital. Now, the big question is Rotom choiced? If it's choiced, it will have to switch out, or risk using Hidden Power Ice again and then getting scalded to the face. So Z-Quigs is going to have to consider that if it is Scarfed. We know it doesn't have leftovers because there's no leftovers recovery, which would be another common item on Rotoms. So it is very likely that this Rotom can be Scarfed.
It's also not Life Orb, so
yeah,
there's a lot leading to it being Scarfed. It also could be Specs, but since I'm not sure though, because like Hidden Power Ice is like 4 times not effective. curious as to why Quest went into Zygarde 10% like on that play. But it worked out, kind of. I'm not sure what either side wants to do here. I would assume that Scizor has the advantage over Zydog, probably because it just has insane bulk, and Zydog doesn't have any fire coverage.
Yeah, I do think Scizor is a really good Pokemon in this scenario for Z-Quigs, especially considering Zydog doesn't really want to take a Bullet Punch, and nothing can really take a Bullet Punch. Empoleon can, but it does have to worry about the superpower. Thousand Arrow is only going to do about 44% to Scizor, who's going to proceed to go for that Swords Dance. Scizor is now Swords Dance up and ready to go. This is a dangerous situation for Quest. I don't think he's going to want to keep Zydog in, especially with the fact that Scizor could very well have Roost. Not breaking that 50% mark is going to be very, not very good for Quest.
It could be a roll. It could be a roll, but I'm not. I doubt it's a 6% roll or an 8% roll for that to kill.
It could be a roll, but yeah, I highly doubt that 12% is going to be added to that roll. It could be, but it looks like Scizor does have the upper hand. It also does have Bullet Punch, so unless this is a Sash Zygarde, that Bullet Punch will probably take it down. The big question is it a Sash Zydog, and who
I think it's
comes in?
Probably Banded.
That's
That
what I'm
looks
guessing
like
too.
Banded. Yeah, it looks like Banded damage. I would say that Infernape is not like a perfect switch in, but it probably could take a Bullet Punch kind of well enough.
Actually, Infernape is the Pokemon to come out. Roost is going to allow Resort to restore its HP to 100%, but now Scizor has to deal with Infernape, who is faster. So even though it does have that Swords Dance boost to its attack, Infernape can take it down in one shot. I think Druddigon or Corsola could be the next Pokemon we see come in, or maybe even Rotom Heat.
I think Rotom Heat is probably not the play unless it's like. I doubt Rotom Heat. It's more than likely Corsola, but I'm pretty sure Infernape does get Earthquake.
Well, and Infernape also has close combat for Corsola as well.
Yeah, so Druddigon is the safest play here, if I had to guess. Because doesn't that like...
Even with that
Yeah,
+2 to its attack, Scizor's Bullet Punch still would have done decent damage, I feel, to Infernape. Not a whole lot, but enough that it would chip and switch out. But Roost was probably a better option just for longevity, especially considering it could now come in on Zygarde again and not have to worry.
Scizor definitely has to hard switch out here, so the Swords Dance kind of just didn't do anything.
Another question is Infernape physical or special? Is it a boosting variety? Is it going to pivot out? What will Infernape do? That is one of the reasons why Infernape's tier 1. It just has so many uses and so many different sets that it could run.
I think if it nasty plots here, and if it, or not nasty plot, if it like, does it have Sword Stance?
I believe it
has
gets
Sword
both.
Stance. If it has Sword Stance, it's probably, it's really dangerous, because if it SDs right here, it can have Earthquake from Mucking Corsola. Druddigon is already chipped, like, 20%-ish. So I don't know how well it's going to take a +2 close combat.
Rotom Yeet is going to come in to take that Flare Blitz. It does pretty big damage, 42%. That's putting it within range of possibly being KO'd based on that damage roll from the Flare
Also,
Blitz.
Doesn't Quest have a Z move on Infernape?
Yes, Z attack.
So this could kill Rotom Heat here, even if it's Z, like Firium Z. Like a Firium Z Flare Blitz will probably get the kill.
Yeah, it definitely will. Two fire-type Pokemon stare each other in the face. Rotom Heat does have the ability to have Choice Scarf, though, so maybe it can pivot out really quickly to safety and then switch in Corsola to take that impending Flare Blitz. Risky play, but it could be what Z-Quigs is going for right now.
Fuck. Yeah, that would make sense. I don't... See, I think that the Flare Blitz was probably a high roll, but if it was like a mid roll, this could be really bad. Because then Empoleon is going to become way more threatening if Rotom Heat goes down.
That's exactly actually what Z-Quigs does.
So now we know that the Rotom Heat is Scarfed because it outsped Infernape. And I'm thinking that Infernape is probably Z.
Yeah, that wasn't a choice because of the fact it used U-turn after the Flare Blitz, and it takes pretty big damage from that Rocky Helmet from Druda Gamer. That was a good switch-in, predicting that U-turn. Flare Blitz probably even wouldn't have been able to take it down. So now Infernape
Flare Blitz might have actually killed Infernape, or almost killed it. Put it in like 10% range.
Yeah, because of that recoil, Infernape is now badly hurt. And it does make sense that Rotom Heat is Scarfed due to the fact that it switched out after using Hidden Power on Empoleon instead of going for that Volt Switch.
I could maybe see a Zelf coming in here, since it did just pivot out on a switch-in.
Actually, it looks like Kuryu, the Tapu Bulu, is going to be the one who comes in.
Probably either a... probably a Wood Hammer.
Yeah, with a Choice Band and Grassy Surge, Wood Hammer will be enough to take it down, I think, depending on what Drudagon's investment is.
Grassy terrain is unfair.
Sizzler can very easily switch in to a Wood Hammer, though, and then roost off that damage. So that's something Quest has to take into consideration, especially with the fact that Sizzler is roosted back to 100% right now.
So, a Zelf does have ice coverage.
Yes.
And so that... But it's only Ice Punch, so I'm not sure if it wants to Ice Punch a Drud again and take Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin.
Tapu Bulu can't really be set loose to play until Sizzler is taken down.
And it's looking pretty... I think Quest is at a really big disadvantage with how badly injured Scizor is. Or not Scizor, Infernape. Because that is going to let Scizor do huge damage and also Whimsicott.
Looks like Kuryu takes huge damage from that combination of Recoil, Rocky Helmet, and Rough Skin.
Yeah, and now that it's glared, it's in even worse condition. Drudigan can probably take it out, depending on what its moveset is.
Stealth Rock and Glare, maybe Earthquake, and maybe Dragon Tail. If that's the moveset, then I don't think Drudagon's going to want to stay in versus Kuryu.
Yeah, I think Drudigan probably has a use using Stealth Rocks go back up, and Bulu is now also really hurt. Druddigan did a lot.
Yeah, that combination of Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin really put a dent in two of Quest's Pokemon.
But now Druddigan is gone. I'm not really sure what that set into motion. That well, nothing will actually want to come in on an Infernape Flare Blitz now, even if it means that Infernape is going to take itself down in the process.
Corsola can, but it doesn't want to be close combated after.
Yeah, so this is kind of... that kind of helped and set Infernape up, but the Rock's damage is gonna really just anything will kill it at this point.
Rotom Yeet is the next one to come in. An Overheat or even a Hidden Power Ice at this point might be enough to take down Kuryu, but it will be locked into one of those moves. It might go for the Volt Switch, predicting a switch away from with Quest from Tapu Bulu.
If I was Quest, I'd probably sack Tapu Bulu.
Yeah, same here.
It's parried and it critted.
Yeah, that Hidden Power is enough to take it down, and Empoleon Bomber is the next one to come in with the knowledge that Rotom Heat can't go for the Volt Switch, so it might go for that Defog or Scald. Both could be good options, but I think Defog probably the better one.
Yeah, Whimsicott can come in here, but I don't know if it wants to.
It looks like Scizor is the one to come in. If it has Superpower, it still can do quite a bit to Bomber. Bomber is at 100% now due to the grassy terrain or the leftovers. Either one would have done it. But a Scald on Scizor could be pretty bad for Scizor.
Roar.
Oh, and the Roar actually prevents it from setting up that Swords Dance. Interesting.
I'm going to guess that the last move is likely Scald. I think it's kind of unfortunate that he roared in Whimsicott. Even though Whimsicott's only neutral.
Whimsicott does have a way of disrupting. Switcheroo is going to fail, confirming Infernape's Z Crystal, and Infernape can go to town now with a Flare Blitz, but Corsola is going to come in to take that Flare Blitz. We have that Z move. It is all-out pummeling, predicting that Corsola switch in and taking it down. Score is now 4-5.
I think Rotom Heat comes in here probably. And then probably either HP Ices or Volt Switches.
I could see the... It's going to be tough for Rotom Heat, maybe even going for the Overheat, because Heliolisk would be a really good switch in, not taking much from Volt Switch or Hidden Power Ice. Actually goes for the Volt Switch, taking down Devok. I'm surprised Quest just kind of let Devok die.
Probably because at this point a Flare Blitz might take itself down, but I'm not... I don't think he wanted to risk sending his Empoleon into... his Empoleon or Zygarde 10 in. So he might just think that they're more useful in this matchup.
Scizor is going to be really hard for Quest to deal with now, though, unless Azelf has Flamethrower.
Yeah. If Azelf doesn't have Flamethrower, this game might be over.
Empoleon still can burn it with Scald and roar it when it tries to Swords Dance, so there's that. But yeah, losing Infernape was really tough for Quest, I think, in dealing with Mega Scizor. Misty, the Heliolisk, is the next one to come out. Wondering if maybe it has Hidden Power Fire, or it's just going to go for Volt Switch.
Scizor does have slightly lower special defense. Yeah, that show is 44% from it. I think that maybe Heliolisk could be Specs, probably not.
It's Life Orb because it took Life Orb damage.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
Wow.
Wow, that's huge damage.
Bug Bite does a ton of damage. Scald is not going to burn. And Bomber is in range of actually Bug Bite KOing.
Yes.
And the Roost is going to allow Scizor to go back to half, but it is now burned, and that Swords Dance is pretty much cancelled out.
I think that just going for the kill there was the play.
Yeah, Resor is going to be harder to take down because it's at higher health now, but that burn is really going to harm it. Volt Switch brings Bomber down to 19%, but Bomber's now going to probably go for a Scald or an Ice Beam, maybe to protect that Whimsicott, but that Volt Switch really did hurt Bomber's longevity.
Could Bomber take a -2 Bug Bite at this point?
I believe so. After the leftovers, yes, I think so. Muck is going to be hit by Scald.
Probably gonna get knocked. Empoleon is probably gonna get knocked off here.
Muck is that secret Pokemon that Z-Quigs has been saving, I think, because it looks like it's pretty good here. Pursuit is actually going to take down Bomber. Really good play there. A lot of these Pokemon are going to have trouble taking down Muck, but Zydog can do quite a bit. Whimsicott, however, can come in on Zydog.
Or Sackler. I think that was a good play to bring Whimsicott in safely. Scizor is now likely in range if it doesn't instantly roost.
Z-Quigs actually forgot about the 1,000 Arrows. That's what I thought might have happened. Maybe he was banking on that Levitate. 1,000 Arrows going to do quite a bit of damage to Resor, who goes for the Swords Dance. Bullet Punch is now going to do normal damage, but it is in range for 1,000 Arrows taking it down.
Yeah, and the burn is going to push the damage threshold over what Scizor can roost back.
Yeah, that's also true. Bullet Punch does respectable damage, but the 1,000 Arrows is going to take down Resor, and now the last two Pokemon are Whimsicott and Mucklola. Whimsicott still can do quite a bit of damage in this matchup, which is not over yet.
Is Whimsicott faster? Oh yes, it is faster, very slightly.
And it likely holds a Choice Scarf as well. Quest is definitely going to need to save Zydog for Muck, so I do see him switching out here.
Maybe a Zelfus Scarfed, just to outscarf the Scarf. Oh wait, Whimsicott is faster than all of Quest's remaining Pokemon.
I see Heliolisk switching in. It has decent special defense, enough to at least take a hit from Whimsicott, and then Azelf can probably come in. Ooh, but he actually lets Zydog go down to a Moonblast. I'm really surprised about that. How is he going to take down Muckalola? That thing is going to be really hard for him to take down now.
Does Azelf get Earth Power?
I don't believe it does.
Check real quick. So it gets Mud Slap.
Yeah, Muckalola is still pretty healthy. Whimsicott at 100%. This could be the turning point. Losing Zydog might be the turning point for Z-Quigs in this matchup. Oh, and that minus special defense, but the critical hit means that it doesn't matter, and Misty is now at 25%, but can Azelf take down Muck after Muck is able to take a hit from Misty? We have seen Muck with Assault Vest run by a Z-Quigs before. That is a pretty common thing. So, oh wow. That critical hit was definitely important, especially after that special attack drop from Moonblast.
Just a moment of silence for the fallen Whimsicott.
Yeah, without Zydog, Muck at almost 80% HP, very specially defensive, and these two Pokemon that remain probably are on the specially defensive side. I mean, special attacking side. I don't know what Azelf has, whether it's an attacker or a special attacker. If it has Sash, I think Quest can clinch this out. If it doesn't, Muck might be able to take a hit and then return one back and take it out.
Volt Switch? I don't know if that was the play.
Yeah, Volt Switch does a measly 13%, and now Azelf is going to take a pretty strong dark hit, most likely, taking it down unless it has a Sash.
I could see it. I could see a knock here. Or knock or... Oh, Gunk Shot. Gunk Shot still.
Gunk Shot only did 70%. Very surprising considering how frail Azelf is and how strong Gunk Shot is of a move. If Azelf could get Muck down into range for Heliolisk to kill, this could be Quest's game. But Muck is very, very special defensive, as we saw with only 13% taken from that Volt Switch.
Hopefully Gunk Shot doesn't just, like, miss.
It does have... It does do that quite a bit. Maybe Azelf will go for the explosion.
Azelf.
Azequix just said, this dude's about to explode on me.
He is a bomb.
Actually, no, it goes for the Thunder Punch. Doing pretty nice damage, 41%. Pursuit does take it down, and it's all up for Heliolisk now. I think without that special attack drop, Hyper Voice actually might do enough to take Muck down. It's going to be really close, though.
So 13 times like 1.5 is roughly 18.
That was Volt Switch and not Hyper Voice, though.
Okay. So it's slightly stronger. Down to the wire.
Yeah, this is so close, and after that Life Orb, it's going to be at 5%.
Yeah, anything Muck does will kill. And just as long as it doesn't Gunk Shot and just miss.
But the Hyper Voice is enough to take down Muck, and barely hanging on with 5%. Heliolisk clinches that victory. Quest emerges victorious from this one. It is a 1-0 victory for Quest Requested team, which is Verocious Victini, over Zequig's team, which is I Like Corsola. What an intense battle.
Yeah.
So, closing thoughts. There was a lot of times where both players kind of sacked Pokemon that I didn't expect them to sack that would have been really important. And because of that, that changed kind of like the strategy and overall pace of the game.
I think it's very unfortunate that that crit happened on Whimsicott.
Yeah, that crit definitely would have taken down... if it didn't crit, that wouldn't have taken down Whimsicott.
Yeah. And then Whimsicott probably would have killed back next turn.
Really intense. Like, that was so down to the wire.
It wasn't a 7-turn sweep, it was just a really good, intense game.
Yeah, definitely. Good halfway point for this week 9. I don't really have any more thoughts, just that observation I made. I don't know if you wanted to add anything else.
I don't really have anything, other than Drudigan did a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot done by Drudigan in whittling down and setting up those rocks multiple times. Yeah, really strong match between both players, and that was match 4, week 9. This is Noel from Sun and Friendly, joined by Colin from Blitz City Haxorus, and see you next time for some more week 9 battles.